Charlie Swain, pleased to meet you. Hasn't anyone ever told you, Mrs. Crisp, that nice things come in small packages? Yes, well, so does poison, young man. Guess you'd better come in then, she said, struggling to stop a smile, and ushered him into the kitchen where the baby of the family, my great-grandmother, Clara, was busy making biscuits. They looked at each other over the kitchen table. It wasn't love at first sight. At least Clara didn't think so at the time. But Charlie did make an immediate impression. Years later, when pressed by her daughters, all Clara could say was, "He seemed to fill the room, like the westerly wind had blown in something exotic," which would send them into a chorus of giggles, because by that time the last thing Charlie seemed was exotic. But back then, when he was only 19, what Charlie did brim over with was confidence. His wide, freckly face open to the world, just daring stuff to happen. Which piqued Sarah's curiosity. "So take a seat then, Charlie Swain. Tell me, how come you've landed in the lovely borough of Southwark? You're not a Londoner, are you? I can sniff it." "No, Mrs. Crisp, your nose is right. I'm not a Londoner. I'm a black sheep that's been cast from the flock as a result of a large misunderstanding and a small amount of high spirits." "Oh dear, I sense a tale," Sarah said, sitting herself down and getting comfortable. Gossip was oxygen in this house of 8 women. "A tale that is not to be told. Sorry to disappoint, but I'm turning over a new leaf and drawing a line under. I'm sure you understand. I've travelled away from the scene of my alleged crime and left it behind. I'm starting tomorrow at the brewery next door. I'm an engineer. I'm good at fixing things." "Well, that'll be handy, won't it, Clara?" Sarah said, glancing in the direction of her daughter. Clara had kept her head down, busy with her biscuits, but not a crumb of this conversation had passed her by. She was determined to carry on with her work. She was kneading the dough and cutting out shapes. But Charlie Swain's gaze seemed to be having a wobbly effect on her fingers. "Come on, Clara. Cat got your tongue?" Sarah said. Clara looked up. "Yes, handy indeed." She had her sleeves rolled up, showing her dainty wrists, while a tightly tied apron showed off her waist. The look was completed with a light dusting of flour on her cheek. "Well, I hope I can be of service," Charlie said. And once again Sarah felt uneasy. "Well, we'll see about that, young man. Anyway, Clara's handy at making pastries and cakes and all sorts of treats for the bakers around here. Aren't you, my dove?" Charlie could see she was blushing as she started cutting out shapes in the dough once again. "Save some for our Rosie Lee. I'll make you a cup. You must be parched," Sarah said. Charlie was only too happy to settle himself down, but the Cockney rhyming slang confused him a bit. Also, he was finding it difficult to concentrate on Sarah Crisp when her youngest daughter was doing such pretty things with her hands. Her fingers gently but firmly pressed the dough into dainty shapes, butterflies, shells, crowns and flowers, intricate yet effortless. Charlie was slightly mesmerised, and he got a familiar impulse to make a shy girl smile. While Sarah had her back to them, he found himself grabbing a small corner of the dough and fashioning it into a heart, then sliding it without a word back to Clara, who looked up astonished. Charlie and Clara were exact opposites, but when this couple of 19-year-olds looked at each other, Charlie's dazzling sharp periwinkle eyes looking into Clara's brown gentle eyes, they felt like they'd met before. Without thinking, just as her mother turned around, Clara hurriedly put the heart into her apron pocket and looked back at Charlie. They held each other's gaze. Why do opposites attract? Hearing my mum and her cousins talk about Charlie and Clara makes me think of magnets pulling towards their polar opposites, as if we can be repelled by partners whose personality is too similar and hopelessly drawn to those who are different. Perhaps we choose people who appear to give us the very qualities we lack, as part of a natural quest for completion, or perhaps it's just a recipe for marital disaster. In any case, the instant attraction of opposites that were Charlie and Clara is a key piece of the jigsaw puzzle that made the Scarlet sisters, or putting it another way,
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.